Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into a very foundational topic in numerical analysis, solving ordinary differential equations or ODEs using numerical methods. Now remember, in the real world, like in physics, engineering, biology, differential equations model everything from population growth to heat flow. But the problem is, many of them don't have nice, neat analytical solutions. So, what do? We approximate them using numerical methods. Let's begin by understanding how we do this one method at a time. Let's kick off with Picard's method. It's more of a theoretical approach. Think of it as a smart guesser that refines its answer every time. You start with an initial value of the function. Let's say you are told that when time is 0, your function value is 1. That's your starting point. It is based on the idea of successive approximations using the integration. It keeps saying, I don't know the exact curve yet, but I will keep refining my guess till it converges. There is an iterative formula for Picard's formula as well. That is yn plus 1 x equals y naught plus integration x naught to x f tyn t dt, where y naught x is the initial guess, usually a constant is there, and y1 x, y2 x, and so on are successive better approximations. Moving on to the numerical example, the step 1 is for the initial guess. As we understood, that it can be 1. So y naught x equals 1. Now, Picard's method takes the starting value and feeds it into the right-hand side of the differential equation to get the next approximation. And then it does that again and again, like feeding answers back into itself. Each time, the curve gets closer to the real solution. And also, then it continues with the second approximation. You can think of it like tracing the curve by hand. With every pass, your curve becomes more refined. But remember, this is computationally heavy and converges slowly. That's why it's rarely used in real computations. But it gives you the idea of how approximation works. And in this numerical example, this process can continue until the difference between yn plus 1x and ynx becomes negligible. That's convergence. As we know, this method is mostly theoretical and used for proving existence or uniqueness of solutions, not very practical for large-scale computations. Next up is Taylor series method, a classic one. What's happening here? Well, the method takes the known value at a point and then predicts future values by expanding the function like a polynomial. It's like saying, hi, if I know where I am and how fast I am moving and how fast my speed is changing, then I can estimate where I will be the next. Now let me walk you through an example for Taylor series method. We are given a differential equation dy by dx equals x plus y, where y0 is 1, we need to find y 0.1. Here, as we already know, we are calculating the third order derivative for y and then computing it at x equals 0 and y equals 1 and getting the values for it. And then we use the Taylor series up to the third order to find the value of y at 0.1. By plugging all these into the Taylor polynomial, we estimate the function at the next time point. The more terms you take, the more accurate your answer. But again, computing all those derivatives can be painful. So while this is accurate, it is a bit tedious. Now we can get to Euler's method, the most intuitive and the one students usually learn first. Euler's method works like this. Imagine you know the slope of a curve at a point. Then you just move a small step in that direction. That's it. Let's break this with an example. Suppose you're tracking the height of water in a tank. And at time 0, the height is 5 meters. The differential equation tells you how fast the water level is changing. So using Euler's method, you can say, okay, if the rate of change is 0.5 meters per second, then after 1 second, the water level is about 5.5 meters. Simple, right? But here's the catch. If the curve is bending a lot and you take a big step, your guess could be way off. So we take small steps called step size or H and keep updating. You keep repeating. Use current point, compute slope, jump ahead a little, repeat. It's basic but not super accurate. That's why we need better methods. Moving on to its numerical example, we have the same ODE as in the previous example and having the initial values x0 equals 0 and y0 equals 1. Here we are simply applying the formulas repeatedly and finding out the values. We can continue this further for the required points. Which bring us to the Runge-Kuttas method, especially the fourth order one. This is the one that most real-world simulations use. So what's the idea? Instead of just using the slope at the start like Euler's, Runge-Kuttas says, hold on. Let's sample the slope at multiple places in the interval, average them smartly, and then move forward. Imagine you are trying to cross a river. You don't just look at the water at the start. You check how the current flows at the start, the middle, and the closer to the end, and then decide the safest path. In numerical terms, we calculate several values or k values, little estimates of slopes at various points within a step. Then we blend them with specific weights and use that to take a step forward. Let's say your initial value is 1, and the equation says the rate of change is proportional to time. You compute k1 using the slope at the start, k2 using the slope at the midpoint adjusted by k1, and so on till k4. Then you mix up them and jump ahead. That's give you a very accurate next value. You repeat this over and over, and boom, you get a smooth curve that almost hugs the true solution. Moving on to its numerical example, the same ODE is used here and we are calculating the values of K1, K2, K3 and K4 respectively. At last, we are putting these into Y1 and then finally getting the value as 1.1103. It looks familiar to the Euler's method, but it is way more accurate than that. So all these methods are built on one simple idea. If you know how fast something is changing and you know where you are, you can figure out where you will be next. Some are fast but rough like Euler, some are slow but elegant like Picard, and some are just right like Runge-Kuttas. In practice, for engineering and science problems, Runge-Kuttas is your best friend. And remember, no matter which method you use, it's all about choosing the right balance between accuracy, effort, and stability. Alright, that's all for this video. In the next video, we will look at some other topic in computational methods. And if you found this video helpful in any way, then don't forget to give it a like. Share it with your friends if they are also preparing for the examinations. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to help us grow. I will see you in the next video. Till then, happy learning.